Hello everyone, my name is Rafiq Wayani. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to explain cloud computing, but I'm trying to explain it in layman's terms. Yes, I see it all the time. I've seen many descriptions and definitions of cloud computing and cloud computing technology. I'm trying to explain it in the simplest way possible. Let's say this represents you. This is your home. But let's say this represents you, and let's say this represents what you need to get done. It's work, okay? So this is who you are, and this is what you need to get done, whatever task it may be. These over here, these represents ways and means you can get done what you need to get done. So to get from where you are and who you are to what you need to get done, you need to choose a method, a way, a vehicle to get that done. In this case, we can take the example of you trying to get to work. You can get to work by using your own car. This may be the most inexpensive mechanism of getting to your work. You own the car. You maintain the car. You have the insurance for the car. Maybe it's an electric car, so it doesn't even cost you any gasoline money, if you will. Maybe it's inexpensive. So this is the cheapest way of getting to where you need to be or getting done what you need to get done. In this instance, I am saying that you are getting to work using your own car. This is an example of something that's called on-premise. On-premise resources or on-premises. These are resources that the organization has, that they own, that they do not use the cloud for, because they have everything they need, and is generally the most inexpensive way to get things done. So if somebody says on-premise, or we have this on-premise, on-premises computing, they're not talking about the cloud. They're talking about something they have on-site. And an example of that may be the network as a whole. Maybe the laptop's desktop as a whole. Maybe it's part of the computing infrastructure as a whole. Maybe it's some applications that they have installed on-premise. They do not need to go to the cloud or access the cloud, if you will, to do things they already own. It's the cheapest, most inexpensive, effective mechanism of doing something. The other option of getting to where you need to be, so here's you. Here's what you need to get done, the vehicle that you're going to choose. Let's say that your car is being serviced. If your car is not working right now, you have other options on how you're going to get here. You obviously have public transportation. You can take the train or the bus, depending on where you live. It may or may not be available, but you always have the option of a taxi. It's also generally inexpensive, depending on how far you work. But your car is being serviced. Your option is to rent a car, but maybe that's expensive. Maybe your insurance doesn't cover it. So you're going to get a taxi to get to work that one day, and that's an option. So to get from where you are to where you need to be, trying to get done something that you need to get done, you're going to choose the right vehicle to get you there. You can't choose your personal car because it's being serviced. Your options are maybe you take a taxi, maybe you rent a car, maybe the dealership offers you, or the place doing the servicing offers you a complimentary car. Whatever the case may be, you're borrowing something that you don't own to do something this one time. Cloud resources can be purchased like renting a car or like getting in a taxi to get to where you need to get to. You can choose the method from countless options to get done what you need to get done. Your other option would be to just buy another car, wouldn't it? But who does that? It's not very common. If your car needs an oil change, if it needs its tires rotated, if it has a little bump and bruise on the fender or the body of the car, you don't buy a new car. You get that fixed. And you find other means of transportation to get done what you need to get done. Cloud resources come in all different shapes and sizes. You can borrow resources temporarily. Taxi in this example and renting a car in this example would be temporary resources that you need to purchase to get done what you need to get done until your car's fixed. So you can do that in the cloud as well. You can borrow resources, vehicle. You can borrow resources, vehicle, to get done what you need to get done. And depending on what you need to get done, you might not want to borrow a taxi because it would be too expensive, because from your location to your work is an hour and a half away, and the taxi would cost you a fortune. You would be forced to rent a car because it would be cheaper. You're not buying another car. What's another option? You're going to borrow a car. So all these options and ways, the vehicle, the ways that you're going to use to get from what you need to do to get what you need done, the vehicle you choose are the options you're provided by the cloud. Cloud has literally thousands of options to get done what you need to get done. You're going to say, well, Rafiq, that's me. You're going to say, well, Rafiq, you know, cloud costs a lot of money. Sometimes it costs a lot of money. Yeah, I understand that. When you borrow resources that are not yours, sometimes you don't have a choice in the matter. What if where you need to work is in Europe and you live in the U.S.? Are you now going to get a rent-a-car? Are you now going to get a taxi? Are you going to use your car at all? Or are you going to take a commercial airliner to get to where you need to get to? Because that's going to be the fastest way to get there and the most economical way to get there. It's also going to be the most practical way to get there. You can choose to go on a boat, but it would take too long. So cloud resources can offer you this jet, if you will, the equivalent of an airline, depending on how much you need to get done. This represents the vehicle you choose to get to what you need to get to. And the size, the mode, the method of the vehicle is going to depend on what you need to get done. And in this instance, I'm talking about getting from the U.S. to Europe. You're not going to choose a car or a boat or a motorcycle or a taxi or certainly any other kind of vehicle. You're going to choose a plane. You choose a commercial plane. Well, cloud has many resources you can choose to get you to your destination. One option is to choose a vehicle, a plane, cloud resources that other people are on. A commercial flight is economical because you're sharing the plane with other passengers. You don't own the plane, you're sharing it. And what you pay, the price that you pay to be on this flight is dependent on many factors. How far you're flying, when you're flying, where's the seat that you've chosen on the plane? Is it in the front? Is it in the back? Are you in first class? Where are you on the plane? Has many factors. Even though you're sharing the flight with other passengers, everybody doesn't pay the same price. Some people pay a lot. Some people pay nothing because they're using their points to get there. But whatever the case is, commercial airliner is going to dictate who you are, where you're trying to get to, and choosing the proper vehicle to get there. Cloud has many different options to get you to your destination or to get you completing the task that you want to complete, providing you with the vehicle to get that done and the right vehicle for the right purpose. If you don't want to fly a commercial airliner, what choice do you have? Well, you can get a private jet. Okay, private jet has many perks. You don't have to go through airport security. You don't have to check in your luggage. You can do all of that here, and the plane's going to take off when you want, except choosing a private jet instead of choosing a commercial airliner is going to cost you a lot more money. If you pick a commercial airliner, you have to maintain that plane, don't you? You have to insure it. You have to have your own pilot. Find a pilot. You have to maintain that plane. You have to pay for that flight, you have to pay for the fuel, and you take on all of the insurance headaches. Commercial airliner, yeah, everything is built into your price that you pay. You're not paying separately for insurance, separately for gas, separately for maintenance, separately for the crew. You're not doing any of that. You're paying one fee to get you from US to Europe. Cloud computing is the same way. You have many, 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 many different options to choose on what vehicle you're going to choose to get done what you need to get done from where you are. I hope that helps. All cloud computing is generally that way. You're borrowing resources, and depending on what you're borrowing, how much you're borrowing, what you need to get done will dictate how much you spend and how effective it is. I hope this has helped you understand a little bit without getting into any technicalities about cloud resources specifically. Using this analogy of choosing the right vehicle for the right purpose, whether you're going to choose a commercial airliner or you're going to choose your own car, you're going to choose a taxi, you're going to rent a car or some other means, there are major brands that offer you the kind of vehicle you want so that you can get done what you need to get done. Depending on the job, you're going to pick a different vehicle to get you there. There's Google's cloud platform. There's Microsoft's Azure. There's Amazon Web Services, GCP, Azure, and AWS. Think of them as three large brands that offer you any kind of vehicle you want, as many as you want, to get you to your destination so that you can get done what you need to get done using the right vehicle. You decide what vehicle you want, how much you're willing to pay for it to get done what you need to get done. Why three major brands? Well, don't you have many choices in car companies, in airlines? Don't you have choices as a whole? What separates one from the other? Well, it can be your comfort level. It can be your agreement with the organization, with Google, with Microsoft, with Azure. It can be the engineers that you have. They are perhaps very well trained in Azure. Maybe they're Amazon experts. Maybe they're Google experts. So that's why they are three major brands. There are others. Now, that does not mean that they all are capable of doing the same thing. Different cars and different airlines and different kinds of taxis and rent-a-cars offer different kinds of services. But generally, all of the vehicle's purpose is to get you from point A to point B. All cloud providers, all cloud vendors, their responsibility is to allow you to get done what you need to get done using the correct vehicle. And you are a cloud architect, a cloud engineer, a cloud developer. Your role is different. You're a driver, you're a passenger, you're a pilot, correct? So depending on who you are dictates what you do, what role you play, and selecting the right vendor for the right purpose that allows you to select the right vehicle to get done what you need to get done. My name is Rafiq Wayani. Follow me on LinkedIn. I have a YouTube channel as well. Great seeing you here.